Please turn to page 81 for the letters chapter. The purpose of this video is to provide you with the directions to teach the different letter activities in this program. There are 3 different letter activities. One is to introduce the letter. Another is to have you read the letter. And when I say read the letter, I mean for the students to say the letter name, the letter sound, as well as a word or words that begin with that letter sound. And finally, to write the letter, otherwise known as letter formation. In these sections of the chapter, I will provide you with the tools you will need to teach it, the student portfolio pages, and then, of course, the directions to teach each activity. On page 82, we start with introducing letters. When we introduce the letters, the tools that you will need are the letter puppet, alphabet card, and the alphabet sound cards. Let's look at each one of these tools. On page 83, you'll see the letter puppet. The letter puppet is a black line master that you will reproduce with a front and back. On the front side is a child who is just saying, I can read letters as fast as a snap. This is for you to show students so that when they're reading the letters, that's their goal, to read them and write them as fast as a snap. On the reverse side of the puppet is the chant that students learn to understand what their goal is. And that is letter name, letter sound, read and write fast. That's our little chant that we say to students before we introduce the letters. On pages 84 and 85 are the black line masters for you to make this puppet. As you can see, you will Xerox it off, have a front side, and then flip it around to the back side where you have the chant. When teaching the new letter, you need to show the students the alphabet card. As you can see on page 86, I'm showing you the letter T. All the different cards for the alphabet can be found on pages 105 through 117 in this manual for you to introduce the letter to the students. On page 87 is the next tool, and that's the sound cards. The sound cards provide you with a colorful letter card as well as pictures that begin with that initial sound, and in this case, T. Here's the great news. All these sound cards can be printed from my website. Just go to nancyfetzer.com, go to the Emergent Reading Kit page, and you will find the sound cards free downloadable. And you can print up all of these different pages with the letter card in color as well as all the picture sound cards in color for you to use them easily. Let's flip back to page 82 and let's introduce a letter. Show the puppet to the students and make the chant. Letter name, letter sound, read and write fast. We're going to learn a new letter, and when we learn that letter, what do we need to do? We need to say the name, the sound, and we need to read and write that letter fast. The puppet is reminding the students what they need to do. Next, you'll show the alphabet card. You'll give the students the name of the letter, the sound, and a word that begins with that letter sound. For example, on this card, we see the letter T. So we'll show the students the letter card, tell them this is the letter T. T makes the, and notice the visual here, T sound, just like tooth. T, T, tooth. After we introduce the letter to the students, then we show them the sound cards. What you want students to do when you show the sound cards is you always want them to say the sound first. Put the T sound in the air. T. Now look at the card. Say the picture. Ready? T. Tails. Let's try another. T. Taxi. T. Telephone. Turn to pages 88 and 89 for reading the new letter. In this chapter on letters, you'll see that these same pictures will be on the letterboard page. So students will not only be introduced to the sound of the letter and words that begin with this sound, they'll also have the vocabulary of these sound cards. On page 88, you will see the new letter board. The new letter board is what students will go to practice only the new letter, to say the letter name, sound, as well as pictures that begin with that letter sound. I love this page because students will point one to one, left to right, and only practice that new skill. For example, you'll see in the picture, the student is going to their portfolio page, and in this case, it's the letter T page, and they're pointing to each letter. When they touch the capital letter here, they may just say the letter name. It is for you to tell the student. For example, on this first row, I only want you to say the letter name when you touch the letter. When you touch a picture, I want you to say the name of that picture. Watch. T, toes. T, tiger. T, T, T. Notice they're getting so much practice with that one letter. They're seeing the uppercase, the lowercase, and they're practicing pictures that begin with that sound. You can also have them just say the letter sound. Let's go to the next row. Turtle. T, t, t. Teddy bear. Sometimes you can tell the students, when you see a capital T, say the name. When you see the lowercase t, say the sound. Let's practice on the next line. T, T, t. Telephone. T, tooth. There's many different ways for you to have your students practice the new letter on this one page. Also, when you're introducing this page, don't forget to remind them. Letter name, letter sound, read and write fast. And in this case, what are we doing? We're reading fast. We're trying to look at the letter, say the name or sound or words that begin with it as quick as a snap so that we master that letter. We try to get that mastery and that automaticity. Also on this page, you will see that students can leave your small group and they can practice this page on their own, as well as go back and color code the letters. You could have them take a red crayon and color code all the capital letters red, a green crayon and color code all of the lowercase letters green. It's a great way for your students to leave your group and go practice exactly what you taught them in this lesson. On page 89, you will find the letters board. This activity is going to provide students with that spiraling of skills when it comes to letter knowledge. They focused on the new letter. Next, they'll go to the letters review board to not only practice that new letter. Notice here we have T, but we have previously learned letters on that page as well. So when they get this page, what they will be doing is again, touching one to one, moving left to right on their pages, as well as practicing the name or sound of the new letter and previously learned letters. It's the constant spiraling so that your kids have that review as well as practice of previously learned and the new letter. On page 90, you'll see the black line masters of the letter formation chants, as well as the letters puppet. When introducing students how to write the letter, always begin with the letter puppet so they remember the goal of their lesson. Letter name, letter sound, read and write fast. What are we going to do in this lesson? We're going to learn how to write the letter as quick as a snap. The letter formation chants provide you with the exact chant that we walk students through in order to form the letter. In this case, we've been showing the letter T. When students are writing the letter T, you'll say this chant. Down the pole, cross the bridge. Lowercase t, down the pole, cross the bridge. On pages 98 and 99, you will find the black line masters for these letter formation chants. Duplicate them, put them back to back on a page so that you have them handy as you're teaching the students how to write the new letter. On page 91, we begin with letter writing. Notice I have the puppet displayed on the whiteboard as well as the capital and lowercase t written out for the students to see. I begin with the chant. Letter name, letter sound, read and write fast. Boys and girls, we are going to learn how to write our new letter, and in this case, the letter T. We always start with body write. And body write is when we use our whole body. I follow the chant, down the pole, cross the bridge. For our lowercase, down the pole, and my bridge is in the middle. Cross the bridge. Let's practice it again. Down the pole, cross the bridge. Down the pole, cross the bridge. After that, we'll use skywrite with our hand and finger in the air. Down the pole, cross the bridge. Down the pole, cross the bridge. Finally, we go to whiteboards and we say the same chant while writing out the uppercase and lowercase letters. Provide each student with a whiteboard and erasable marker. The reason for this is so that they can easily practice how to write the letter many times. For additional practice, you can also go to our website for letter formation videos. Students have been introduced to how to write the new letter through body write, skywrite, and on the whiteboard. Let's go to the next activities for writing so that we can get to that paper and pencil. On page 92, you'll find the next letter formation activity, find and write letters. We've been writing the letter T in isolation. This activity is asking students to find the letter T on the alphabet chart and then write it down. And as they write it down, they will always say the letter formation chant. Down the pole, cross the bridge. Down the pole, cross the bridge. After they write that letter, I could tell them to do it again, or I could give them a previously learned letter. For example, find the letter M on the chart. They would need to point to M, and then they would go to their whiteboard and write down the letter M, saying the letter writing chant. What's fabulous about this activity is it not only gives them more practice to write the new letter, but also for them to practice the previously learned letters when it comes to letter formations. On the last page, students will go to paper and pencil. There are two different paper pencil letter formation activities, and these are in the student portfolios. First, they just have the letters on the page for students to trace over, and as they trace over the letters, they always need to say the letter chant. Down the pole, cross the bridge. Down the pole, cross the bridge. Sometimes I say the letter chant, down the pole, cross the high bridge. Down the pole, cross the middle bridge, if students need a little more support. The final letter writing page, students are going to write those letters but on lines. We're adding a little bit more difficulty. This is where they're going to have the solid top line, the dotted middle line, and the solid bottom line for them to learn how to write on lined paper. This concludes the letter section of my Emergent Reading Kit. Next we'll go to the alphabet tools and videos.